Okay, I know none of you will care about what I'm about to say, because the only hot topic today is the League of Legends Worlds Finals. But I recorded this video yesterday and I'm still in the past rooting for Fnatic. From here we can only go two ways. Either Fnatic lost and you will see me sad, or they won and you will see me happy. Also, if a new champion is revealed during the live broadcast, well, that will be sad for this video. Anyway, hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Rift News, a source of League news that occasionally goes on holidays when something interesting happens. And because we already missed a lot of new stuff, let's jump right into it. First of all, let's start with something that Riot should have done a long time ago, and something that rewards our Twitch viewers. If you have Amazon Prime and you're not sure who to give your Twitch Prime, I'd appreciate your support. But that's not why I'm talking about this. If you have Twitch Prime, you can link it to your League of Legends account and get a Twitch capsule. The Twitch capsule is guaranteed to give you a legendary skin. Now, with some luck, you won't be me. But then again, we can't all be me, so maybe you'll get something better. And speaking of streaming, we still have a bunch of Amumu codes to give away. So again, keep an eye on our social media and remember that we stream every Monday, after everyone gets back home from work. But now, let's have a look at the actual game. On live servers, the tales from the Rift are likely already gone. Today is the last day of the Spooky Summoner's Rift, and that's pretty much it. To be honest, this year's Halloween event seemed to be an afterthought, since it was happening during Worlds. Although the skins are pretty high quality, but the rest of the event seemed hollow. No, not hollow, hollow. Actually, it didn't seem hollow either. You see, this year we were missing three fundamental things that make Halloween really good in League. First of all, the new Summoner's Rift is trying, but the spooky decorations are still not that spooky. I understand that last year Riot didn't change the map because they were still in the process of recreating it. But this year, nothing new was happening. So I think they could have actually retextured some of the assets. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, if you look at the older Halloween maps, they have orangey filters over them. There was smoke and mist covering the jungle. And in general, it brought up very spooky mood. But the new map is just the same old green hue with a couple of pumpkins around. The second thing I was missing was the music. In the past, Summoner's Rift always swapped to the old Twisted Tree Line music to even more underline the Halloween mood. Here's a little taste of the music. This year we only got a very short hint of spooky music at the start, and then it's back to the classic music. And the last thing I was missing this year was Doombots. Come on, Doombots are a classic at this point. On the hardest difficulty, it's like trying to beat challenger players without embarrassing yourselves in front of other people. Except that you still have teammates that will judge your every move. Nevertheless, I could feel that the Doombots were missing, even though Riot is already putting a lot of effort into other game modes. And speaking of game modes, Clash is happening this weekend. At least for EU. I have no idea what the schedule is for other regions. At this point, this game mode is cursed and it will never work. So don't get your hopes up. Go in with your friends knowing that everything will go wrong, and once it works you will be that much happier. A quick recap. Clash is a tournament mode where you need a pre-made team. You bet tickets depending on how much you think you'll win, and depending on how many you cashed in, you'll get better rewards at the end. Also, you can unlock custom logos and even trophies if you win. Wait, forget everything I just said. There are technical issues again, and Clash is rescheduling. I'm not making this up, this has to be a meme now. Now, let's have a look at PBE and all the skins that are approaching live servers. This PBE build introduced my new favorite skin line. I was pretty sure it will be Odyssey for a while. But this new, simple yet very immersive line may have topped that for me. The Praetorian skins, at least that's how I think you pronounce that, are exactly the kind of skins I like. People know I love serious skins. Those that are not based on comedy, but rather a specific theme. On top of that, people know I love sci-fi, and the Praetorian skin line is like an immersive sci-fi robot simulator. I'll show you exactly how immersive they are in a second. So, we got two skins in this line, Graves and Fiddlesticks. Both look absolutely amazing, they have their own stories, and their recoil animations are stellar. Did he just eat Wither? Their story actually continues what Pulsefire Ezreal started. As Ezreal jumps between universes, he leaves behind these open portals that suddenly connect everything. The Praetorian robots seem to be guardians that prevent this universal chaos from happening. So think of them as Pulsefire hunters. But the reason why I love these skins so much is because Riot went far and beyond to make sure they feel like killer robots. This is where the immersion comes in. Not only do they visually look great, and the theme is awesome, but Riot gave them custom voice effects to fit the classic artificial intelligence fantasy. Instead of giving them a filter over their voice, like they did with the mecha skins, these guys act as if they were totally different champions. This is how you push immersion further than immersive Skyrim mods. Instead of listening to mechanized graves, it feels like I'm listening to Geth Trooper.
You are Shepard, Commander, Alliance, Human.
So these two guys are definitely up there when it comes to my favorite skins. But if you're not into these for one reason or another, don't worry because we also got two program skins. Program LeBlanc and Program Nami. We know the program skins are part of the project universe, so I wouldn't be surprised to see their story soon as well. As it is a tradition these days, every single one of these skins has 6 chroma skins. But besides these skins, the same PBE build also gave us new icons, which we can assume will be for the Blue Essence store. Also icons for the Clash Hextech Cup, and icons for ranked queues. On top of that, we also got 3 wards for this year's honor system. Now, let's leave PBE and let's have a look at some of the red posts on boards. First of all, we got an update on next year's preseason. Here we have 3 major updates. The first one is that you can now manually choose what passive stats you want from runes. Previously, you got bonus damage or resistance depending on your secondary runes. So this won't be a massive change, but more customization is always welcome. The second change is that you will be able to see bounties on champions. This is the reward you get for killing someone who has a lot of kills. Or a lot of last hits, which is something new in the game. These new bounties are focused on better recovery. So if you're getting stomped and you do something really good, there might be an actual change to the game. The last update was on turrets. Their health will now be divided into 5 plates. For every plate you destroy, you'll get some local gold and the resistances on the turret will increase. So with every plate down, it will be more difficult to destroy the next one. After roughly 14 minutes, the plates will disappear and the turret will be back to its normal health. These changes were made for 2 reasons. First of all, it will be rare to see turrets falling early in the game. This will increase the laning phase time. But also, if you are getting stomped, you'll have more time to farm under your turret without worrying that it will be destroyed. Another interesting post showed us 3 new visual ability updates. Just like it was with Lee Sin, Veigar or Jarvan, Gragas, Teemo and Mundo are also getting updated. Teemo is getting his base abilities up to par with Satan Teemo. Or is it Devil Teemo? You know the one. This is most notable on his shrooms. The explosions on his basic skins finally look like explosions. What's interesting is that his darts still fly from his head, and not from the tip of his blow dart gun. I wonder if this was done so the dart wouldn't bypass something like Yasuo's wind wall if he was too close. Or maybe because it would actually shoot someone from behind if he was in melee range. But either way, it is something you can notice. For Gragas, everything remained the same, except for the fact that everything is more detailed. The biggest change is that everything also has new sounds. Especially when throwing his barrels, you can hear the wood squeaking. For Mundo, it is also exactly the same, but a little more fleshed out. The colors are more vibrant, so it's easier to notice what he is doing during a teamfight. His sounds are very iconic, so I'm pretty sure they will stay for a while. Next up, we have even more awesome animation updates done by Rory Elderton. Last time we had a look at Alistar, Karma, Fiora and a bunch of other animations he worked on. And this time he added Victor. This new animation really sells the grand upright posture of someone who perfected recreating his own body. But for a peak performance machine, I would imagine his walk cycle to be more fluent and without any jittering. Then again, this one was animated to be the slowest cycle, for example when he still doesn't have boots. So I think it fits what it's trying to deliver. This animation popped up on Reddit and the majority of players praised it. However, it was advertised as something Riot is actively working on, which is false. Be careful when spreading these people, because Rory is working on these in his free time. And only when it's really up to par with the game standards can they move it into production. This isn't work of the entire company, this is just one guy. And by misinforming people about this, there may be consequences. And Rory may have to stop sharing his work. And that would be pretty awful. One last thing I wanted to show you is the new loading borders. We'll talk about the entire ranked system next time as we'll get even more information on it later. But since we already saw the new armor designs, now we finally got the borders with it too. They look absolutely amazing. And if you're wondering why they are so open, well, that's because the entire loading UI will change as well. Sep Magic provided us with more context for the designs. Now, before we move on to the newest Ask Riot, I quickly want to mention that the hosting regions for Worlds were announced for the next 3 years. 2019 will be in Europe. Likely not UK, because they won't be in EU anymore. 2020 will be in China, and 2021 will be in North America. But now, let's have a look at the latest questions from Ask Riot. Any updates on Clash? When will it be fully released? This one, of course, was answered by Draggles. Simply put, after the last major crash of the entire system, Riot went through more tests on PvE, and now they are revisiting each region to regain their confidence. Right now they are testing 3 major tools. Staggered scouting phase, that will spread out games instead of everyone starting at the same time, a streamlined backend flow, that will make sure not all systems rely on one another, and a disaster recovery tool in case everything goes horribly wrong. Which League skin was the hardest to make? This one was answered by Carlos. Hard can have many meanings, so when talking about the most difficult to develop, Carlos mentioned Elementalist Lux. We know that skin was difficult to make, not because they had to make many different forms. Actually, a lot of that was just augmenting versions of the classic Lux, but because they had to fit all of that data into limited space. Then he mentioned the fact that the Keida skins went through about 70 different iterations to make sure they fit the theme, while normally the 1350 RP skins go through roughly 5 iterations. And last question, is there prejudice in Runeterra? Which regions are better or worse? Oh, let me tell you, we don't need Skethlog to answer this question for us. We know what Vayne is all about. But nevertheless, here is what he pointed out. Ionia was a harmonious place before Nexus arrived, so Ionians certainly don't ask them about their lives before they hit them. In fact, the main province, which is Navori, holds deep hatred towards non-Ionians ever since the end of the war. But Skethlog also reminded us that Nexus isn't actually full of evil people. It's just that Borem Darkville was a little bit mad. But he is now gone and the Empire functions like any other kingdom. But even after this change, Ionians still hold their prejudice. Then he mentioned Targon. You have the Rakor tribe that sees life and magic as gifts from the heavens. And then there is the Solari who see all the Lunari as heretics, who must be cast out or killed. While to the other tribes, the two aren't really that different. And lastly, he mentions Demacia, which we already know about. Demacia is filled with prejudice by far the most. Pretty much anything that only has a little bit of magic in it has to go through rough exorcism, as if everyone was some kind of killer demon, which kinda explains the long neck Lux is hiding. Hey, did you know that we have social media and Twitch where we talk about other League facts and stories? And did you know that we have neat mugs and shirts too? The links to all of that will be below. And as always, thank you, come again.